Welcome back, everybody, to the ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series Week 6. It's time for our third match of the day, which is Xixo versus FlyBird. Xixo is a player that comes in well known for his legend runs, and for even the most recent, his innovation of Zoo incorporating Sea Giants and Implosion. Those two cards have been making waves across everything else. We look at FlyBird, and we saw him play yesterday, and I felt like FlyBird got in. But I felt like a lot of the reason had to do with the fact that Ozzy didn't necessarily cross the finish line strongly at all. So I'm not necessarily sure how to gauge FlyBird at the moment. If I have to be quite candid, he could just be better than those guys, but maybe nothing compared to Xixo.
He definitely struggled yesterday in the Challenger Finals, and he had a pretty grueling set of matches to actually make it to today. And he had a couple mistakes, but again, he is playing from Taiwan.
Right.
So it is already pretty late there. And granted, yesterday, some of the matches that we had later on were in the very wee hours of the morning for FlyBird. So we'll see how much fatigue plays into it. Maybe now he's a little bit accustomed to the time difference and playing at this time of day. But
it's
we'll
like
definitely
4
have to
a.m. over
yeah.
there right now. I just checked my watch.
But I think that this format is actually really great for Xixo because it is a ladder format, and Xixo is known as a very strong ladder player. He's also a very strong competitive player, so this is sort of a mix of both worlds, and I think that I'm expecting a strong performance from him. But of course, FlyBird could bring in some good performance as well. You can see the deck list there on your screen for this match.
Well, yikes! Seems like for Xixo, he matched his Warrior against Druid. That's gonna be tough. Followed by the Warlock versus Paladin, and then Warrior versus Warlock just to finish things off. And that's, of course, before we get to the blind pick stage. For anybody tuning in for the first time, we go to the games 4 and 5 where they can choose any deck they want after the first 3 games they submitted a lineup. So we know FlyBird picked Handlock yesterday. I think it's a safe assumption he chose Handlock again. Xixo, is he bringing Zoo, the Zoo that carried him all the way to second place at the Pinnacle?
I would imagine so. So if you look at the match lineups, first one's in favor of FlyBird, second one's sort of a toss-up, third one's in favor of Xixo. So I think as far as the matchups go, it's very even, which is cool because that means we'll probably go to the blind pick round, which is where players really get to showcase not only their decision-making as far as their deck choices go, but also the ladder style comes even more into play when you, even less because you know the decks. So it makes the decision-making a little more important, since you're not just randomly picking 3 decks.
Alright, well, over on FlyBird's end, he did have Innervate early on, which is nice. Just so that way you can pick up, he has 2 Shades now, so I think that's a very great start here. Innervate Shade into Coin Shade.
Very scary.
So he curves out very nicely for turns 1 and 2. And of course, that probably will not make Xixo happy in the slightest.
Nope. Armorsmith is pretty good. It means you are guaranteeing that Shade's going to stay in for one more round, but sometimes that's a bad thing. Shades are a really great card against Warrior because a lot of times Druid just beats Warrior out of sheer damage potential in the mid game because it's hard for Warrior to deal with a lot of medium-sized creatures. They can usually deal with small creatures early on with weapons and big creatures with their removal.
That's where Death Spite actually comes into play.
That's true.
You also can line up your removals for like Shades of Naxxramas if you want. Tough spot here for Xixo. Might even start being slightly more aggressive with his Cool Taskmaster here, just so that his Armorsmith doesn't die for virtually nothing. It's a tough give and take though, because now you're like, then what if you draw Execute? And then it's like, well, now you don't have a way to easily pop it other than hoping your minions trade into it. It simply just removes it, and you're in trouble again.
But at the same time, if he uses the shield block right now, the armor could get bopped off before he is able to use Shield Slam.
You cycle, so it doesn't feel very strong. FlyBird, again, a couple of interesting choices, but I really like the idea of investing into these Shades of Naxxramas. Let them get really big, go for the Savage Roars, and you have so much damage.
Well, he's already got one piece of the combo. So a combo, if those Shades of Naxxramas live that long, which I doubt they will, because that's 6 turns from now, which it's likely that he's going to have to try and leverage at least some sort of control with those Shades.
I'm definitely not liking an attack here with Shades of Naxxramas. There's just too many things that your opponent can have, whether it's Death Spite, Fiery War Axe, Shield Slam, Executes, and it just makes you invested in Innervate into this. Like, this is what you want them for. Whoa. Very good draw for Xixo to play something on curve, too. Xixo plays so fast. It's quite refreshing, honestly.
Well, okay, it's new into the season. He's coming off probably, well, his EU Legend grind and probably an NA Legend grind as well. He's just playing. He's used to those fast games.
He needs to finish so he can continue to grind those.
Exactly, which I'm surprised he played Warrior. Not surprised that he put a piloted Shredder in Warrior. If anybody's going to play a faster version of Warrior, I think it would be Xixo. Or
so,
Chalky.
Innervate number 2 here. It's actually okay if he had like a contingency plan to follow it up. It's just that it's so scary to pick up something that you can't use afterwards. But Sylvanas on a board where you can seize the pilot shredder also feels pretty good too. Do you go for it? I think it's better than passing.
Or just swiping the piloted shredder, see what happens. Maybe hero powering, Innervate hero powering down.
Doesn't feel very good at all.
Okay.
You give up 2 cards to remove 1. I think Innervate Sylvanas is definitely the best play here.
Okay.
I have no
Yeah.
time for games.
He is running out of cards though, which could be a thing. I mean, the cards that he has in his hand are still pretty good, and you have to take into account the fact that he has 2 growing shades on the board as well. And this is pretty awkward because you can't just it's not a clean removal of that Sylvanas.
Well, it is. You just kill it, but she's gonna take whatever remains.
Yeah, that's what I meant by not
now,
being clean.
You know what's super hilarious? Imagine a Doomsayer pops out. You kill it off, let him steal Doomsayer, and no matter what, it guarantees pops next turn.
Wow.
The dream.
That really is.
There's, I think, 63 or something around that 2-drops.
That's a very low percentage
it's like
chance.
1 point something %. But during those 1 point something %, it happens every time.
Wow. That's very true. Very, very true.
Xixo, you know what to do. You know what to do, buddy.
He's got to be quick. That rope is counting down now. He doesn't have much room to make it.
Aww.
And it looks like he's going to ignore it.
He's going to let his opponent make the trades into it. How much damage is this from Savage Roar? 5, 10, 16. Plus 8 is 23. 24 damage. That's just crazy. That's so much damage on turn 5. Innervate's a funny card.
Yes, it is. Wow, it's so crazy that he just passed. I mean, I guess he has a lot of life gain in his hand at the moment.
He wants him to reveal the Shade, or to attack into the Pilot Shredder first, or to like weaken the Sylvanas and then do something else. Like basically force the initiative so that way he doesn't have to give up what's on the other end of the Pilot Shredder. He doesn't want to give up the people who are driving his machines.
But can't FlyBird just attack with Sylvanas, keep his Shade stealth, and be in the exact same position that he was the previous turn?
Well, he'd be doing damage back.
That's true. And it's 6 power as opposed to
Wow.
5 power.
So basically, both these guys skip their turn 5s. There was a little bit. Oh!
Oh, maybe not.
Hold the phones.
Captain Greenskin. That is a card.
Okay, so now you can actually deal with this by suiciding Pilot Shredder. Ah, that's actually pretty good. It's like pretty decent so that Sylvanas doesn't just get bullied. Oh, I thought he was going to shield block, shield slam.
He's dead.
Oh, you're right. GG.
Wow.
Savage Roar.
Just a Savage Roar.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to shield block, shield slam the
That seems a
shade.
little bit hasty and risky to
It's-
not
it's-
play around it in that point.